All right, year 10. So today we're sort of looking at an application of expanding brackets and factorizing. What we're looking at is looking at simplifying algebraic fractions. So we've got some adding and subtracting fractions. We've got some timesing and dividing. We're going to need to use our skills of both expanding and simplifying and factorizing in order to be able to do these. Okay, so let's look at this first example. When we've got two fractions we're adding together, we need a common denominator. So we're going to have to multiply each of the fractions by the factor that it's missing from the other. So we're going to need to multiply this top and bottom by 4, and this all of that by 3. So for this first one, we just get 4p on 12, and then because we're multiplying all of the top of the second fraction by 3, we can think of it as putting brackets around it. Okay, so we're adding all of 3 times p plus 2. Oh, that should be a p plus 2, not a p plus 3. Okay, and then on 12 as well. So now that we have a common denominator, we can simply add the top numbers. We're going to get 4p, and then we've got to expand. So plus 3p plus 6 all over 12, and that becomes 7p plus 6 all over 12. Okay, we can't simplify that anymore, so we've finished our question there. For B, we've got to think about what we're missing. So we've got to think of a common denominator between 6 and 9. The common denominator is going to be 18. So I'm going to need to multiply all of this by 2, all of that by 2, and then all of this by 3, and all of that by 3. So what I get is, I get 3 brackets 5m minus 3, because we're multiplying all of that by 3, not just one of those terms, over 18. And then minus 2 times 3m minus 1 over 18. So then when we expand this, we can put it all over this one denominator. We can expand 15m minus 9. And then we've got a minus 2. So we've got to expand using the minus 2 out the front. So that becomes minus 6m, and then that becomes plus 1 all over 18. And then we just simply collect like terms. So we've got 15m minus 6m equals 9m. We've got minus 9 plus 1 is going to be minus 8. And it's all over 18. Okay, so you got to be careful of this negative factor, the fact that we're expanding using a negative because we're subtracting our two fractions. So be careful of that step. Okay. Now, for these ones, we're going to need to factorize and then cancel the common factors once we've done that. So for this first one, we're multiplying. Let's factorize, take out the 2, and you get y minus 2. And then the bottom is going to be 5 times 10y over, and let's factorize, take out a y, we get y minus 2. So all we've got to do is cancel common factors. So 5 becomes 1, 10 becomes 2. Okay, we can cancel y with y. What we're doing is we're looking for, if we are multiplying by something and then you're dividing by that same thing, those things are going to cancel out. So then I've got y minus 2 and y minus 2. I can cancel those. And so what I'm left with a 1 on the bottom. I don't need to write the 1 on the bottom. I'm left with 2 times 2 on top. Okay, so it's 4 over 1, or we can just write it as 4. Okay, remember, you can watch over this again if you need to listen to it again. And big challenge, see if you can simplify B here. So pause the video, see if you can do it yourself, and then you can unpause and check to see how you're going. All right, now when we're dividing fractions, we just flip and make it a multiply. Flip the second fraction and then make it a multiply. Okay, so we can factorize that first one. It's a difference. So we haven't quite done this yet. We will do this in a little bit. So we've got a difference of 2 squares. Factorizes like this. We're going to come back to that. So that's fine if you're not quite sure how we got that answer. And then 6 plus 5, and then times. Okay, we're going to put this bottom number on top. So this will become, again, we're going to do this a little bit more later. I realize this question's a little bit harder than anything you've done yet. So just bear with me here. What we're trying to do is find a way of factorizing this quadratic trinomial. We're going to do this next week. The way that we do this is we've got to think of this number here, two numbers that are multiplied to equal 5, and then we're going to look at two numbers that add to equal 6. So if they multiply to equal 5 and add to equal 6, the numbers are going to be 5 and 1. So we get x plus 5 and x plus 1. Don't worry about that. We're going to do that more next week. And then finally, if we've got multiply to equal 3 and add to equal 4, it's going to be 3 and 1. So we can take out x plus 3 and then x plus 1. Okay, we're going to do more of that next week. But what we can do now, we've got to this part, we can start cancelling common factors. So I've got x plus 3 cancels with x plus 3. I've got x plus 5 cancels with x plus 5. I've got x plus 1 cancels with x plus 1. So all I'm left with is x minus 3 on top. Okay. What's important for you to understand today? You need to be able to do those top examples. Okay. You should be able to do part A. Part B is a little bit beyond what we've covered so far. But by the end of next week, you should be able to do a question like that on your own. All right. Thanks, boys. Good luck with the questions today, and I'll see you next week. Bye.